Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Every Degree Matters. I'm your host, Saffran Minhar. Today, we're going to talk about some really disturbing, in the sense like it was a sad weekend, I would say, for me particularly. Because there have been two massive shootings, one in the United States at Brown University, the other one was in Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. And we also had one of the famous directors in Hollywood who directed Princess Bride, Stand by Me, a lot of movies, and also the father of in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. He was father of Jordan. I mean Leonardo DiCaprio. The He was the father of Leo, and there was Rob Reiner, unfortunately, with his wife found dead in LA. And reportedly, his son has been charged with first degree murder. So we don't know anything about that. We will talk about it more. And we also got, this is as a 49ers fan, I would say I'm more happy that Kansas Chief got knocked out out of the playoffs, so they are no more in the this season. I'm like, yeah, well, just because we lost to them, so I feel like I need to make this a point. But also, guys, it was a very sad weekend, and we're going to talk about it more. And then we also had a unfortunate situation what happened in Brown University. I mean, gun violence is a big thing that's happening in this country. I think we also need to more focus on how we can let people not have guns who are not mentally strong or have any other mental illness that has to be taken care of. With that, let's get to the show.
And you wanna write it down? Would it kill you just to listen? And you wanna sell it out with the words out of your position. Hold on. And you wanna see the break of dawn. The words you have back from your face. You won't see me when
Thank you for joining Every Degree Matters. I'm your host, Saffran Minhar. For the first topic, first of all, I wanted to say deep, a big, sad, and hopefully Rob Reiner and his wife, rest in peace, Michelle Reiner. And she was also she was an amazing person. Hearing from a lot of people out here in Hollywood, and it was very sad that this happened to them, and so unfortunate. He was a very provocative and very outspoken person in topics which that mattered to him, which was really nice of him being leading the charge. And he was a great actor. I loved him at The Wolf of Wall Street. He's a great director, first of all. Apart from that, his acting was amazing, and I always see that scene, and it was just how. And then also in aftermath of Charlie Kirk's what do you call assassination, he came out and spoke with empathy, and he said they vehemently disagreed, Charlie and Rob, but he came and said it shouldn't have happened. And unfortunately, the president, which I really like, went on and ranted about some BS and something. And I don't think he should have done that on Truth Social, and I think he should have deleted. And I really feel this is where I feel like, come on, president, like we all support him, we all do a lot of things, he have done some great stuff. And we also saw him today speaking on he did a big address to the nation, and he was talking about a lot of things that he has achieved. Particularly I was more of like the economy, the gas prices have gone down, and also the tariffs are working. I feel like that was a good strategy, bringing back a lot of companies and factories that he spoke about. He reiterated, which was a good thing. And he also talked about how it is important for us to close the border and have this vetting process of bringing people, and which they have done. And they also talked about, he also ranted about some other stuff that's being Trump. So anyways, so let's get to the other two shooting that happened. One in our homeland in the United States, in Brown University, which is so sad. people, I think two people that left, two people were dead and 9 people were wounded, and in a classroom shooting, which, this is nothing to this country, I mean to America. So it's so unfortunate, and I hope they bring up some regulations and laws, particularly in terms of, or opening up a lot of asylum institutions that help people. There are a lot of people impacted by, mental health issues, like, and PTSD, like so many things happening. And also, I feel like this generation that is growing up now, this is the anxiety generation, I call them. They always have this problem of anxiety. I have no idea. Maybe it's also social media. Last time we spoke about, maybe it's the right time to think about maybe banning social media for kids under 16 years old, so that they don't get radicalized. They don't get, divisive. They don't see videos that they were not supposed to be seeing, or like videos that could lead them to be radicalized. I feel like that's something we could do as a first step to also prevent such violence. I mean, Second Amendment is awesome. Second Amendment is to make sure you can do the First Amendment. But I think maybe we can have some regulations. I don't know. I mean, so sad. And then we also saw in Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. Oh man, that is so bad. I mean, Jewish people around the world are feeling so threatened, and so the race of anti-Semitism is been going big again. And this is their first week of Hanukkah, and happy Hanukkah for people who are celebrating it. They fast for 14 days and they celebrate it, and it was a celebration that they were having. It's similar to if a Muslim having an iftar, when they during the month of Ramadan they fast. And imagine if somebody goes and does a shooting in a mass mosque or something like that, how bad it would feel, how insecure they would feel. And then unfortunately it took 16 people's life. And we also saw a brave person saving, and he's also a Muslim apparently, and he saved the first gunman, the father. It was father and a mother, son that was involved in this shooting, and he was a hero. His name is Ahmad Al Ahmad, if I'm pronouncing it right. He is a Syrian but became an Australian citizen later on. And he is a fruit vendor, and is so heroic, and a lot of people are pulling up funding. And a big shout out to Bill Ackman. I'm so happy that he's doing that, and he's like being a forefront of making sure people donate. I think they have already raised 2.7 or 3 million. They're planning to raise $3 million to Ahmad Al Ahmad for helping us. He's hospitalized. I did see that people meeting him. The Prime Minister of Australia did go and see him at the hospital, which was great. And I think Australia, around the world, I don't know why. Like, why didn't people learn from Holocaust? Like, I have no idea. You can't blame people. I hear people saying that it's because some people are saying, oh, it's because Israel's action. I mean, forget about Israel. Israel is just a country. Jewish people around the world, nobody, like, Israel is different and Jewish people are different. And it's just people really try to convolute each other and make it a point. And I feel so bad to them, and especially in their festival time, like festive time of breaking the fast and having this enjoyment. And Bondi Beach, I mean Australia, come on. If it is in America, you could say like, yeah, it's more likely to happen because we have no regulations on guns. But in Australia, it's sad it happened. And we hope the Ahmad Al Ahmad gets recovered, and people who got wounded get also recovered from this process. And I hope we can all stand up to anti-Semitism, any Islamophobia, like anything. I think this world needs to have peace. This world needs to have understanding. You can come from wherever you are. You can be wherever you want, but make sure, do not, be radicalized. Don't, I mean, that's what I said, going back again. These things could also be intriguing, because it's more likely these days to get radicalized because people having access to social media, especially young kids at very young age, at 13. So I think having that law implemented could also have reduced the impact of what is having on our kids and the future generation that's in this country and around the world also. And the other topics that I wanted to talk is that Trump also signed an executive order banning the what do you call preventing states from enforcing their own AI rules for artificial intelligence, which is Trump got scared and saying that, oh, maybe. But also he needs to understand state can make their own laws. That's what the 18th Amendment or the Fifth Amendment lets them do. So states run by own, they can have their own laws. I don't think a federal needs to dictate what state needs to say, but it also, on the other side, we could say why are we talking about AI safety? And I also believe that the AI industry has not spoken well out about the safety features, or also talking about what could it really do, rather than creating this panic mode in everyone. And I think they made a big massive mistake of not being a good advocate for AI, rather than talking about their products, talking about what it can do, and people are freaking out. And honestly speaking, the next 3 years, we're gonna lose a lot of jobs, but at the same time we will be able to create more jobs. That's what they have to be talking. But everyone that's going right now out and saying, oh, my product is good, if you talk about Sam Altman, Jensen, Elon, so everybody goes out and talk about how is their product, but they are not talking about how it is important to understand. At a short-term phrase, we will lose a lot of job, but at the same time, in a long run, we will have to adopt. We will have to change our working structure, our manufacturing processes, and we will have more other jobs created in different other fields that connects to using of AI. So I feel like that's something we need to really take care of or think about. And I don't see that, even though People's Times Magazine this time named Person of the Year as AI, people who were the architect for AI, Sam Altman, Elon, Jensen, Satya Nadella, Google, Sundar, like all those tech companies CEOs. But I also feel they also have a duty to tell people to not to panic and make sure that we are in a transition phase. And that's what they call it, in just the transition of moving. It's think about in a way how internet came into picture, how in the 90s people were like, oh my god, it's going to take away jobs. But it did take away jobs, but it also created more jobs. People need to but someone has to go and explain that to the people. If you don't explain that to people, people might get scared. And that's the other mistake, or fundamentally I see that's a big problem that's happening around this country or around this world. They are all going around and talking about how great is their product. Yes, we know how great is their product, but you all have to understand and talk to the people and let the people understand that you will not lose the job, or there has to be a transition phase, and they have failed to do that. And I hope people like Elon and Sam, I mean, I don't believe in Sam anymore, but they come up and they say, we should do something to prevent or getting the message across to the ordinary people, not the people that knows about AI, not the people that knows about, IT, not someone who understands everything. We have to go and they should be able to resonate with people, a common man. And that's why President Trump won. People don't understand. He was able to resonate with a common man. That's why the message was powerful. That's how Obama won back in 2008, because he was able to resonate with people. Again, if we don't go and talk to them and say to the people and say, hey, listen, this is not a big problem. We understand this. This is a transition phase, and we will be fine. But it never happens. And also, so as you all know, the other topic we want to talk about is the healthcare subsidies that's ending in which will end in end of this year, 31st of December. I don't know what the Democrats have done. The Senate has rejected the extending Obamacare, which means 24 million Americans will lose the premium subsidies from 1st of January unless a new legislation is passed. So this is where I get really crazy with the Republicans. They should have done this in 2016. They've been telling since 2016 Obamacare is bad, Obamacare is bad. So what's the solution? Affordable Care Act. What is the solution? Present a solution, and then people can decide. They can debate, of course, but nothing has happened. It's going to be really pathetic and sad if a richest country in the world cannot help its own people to get medical care. And if 24 millions of Americans are going to lose medical care, that's going to be a big shameness if for the outside world looking at America and saying, "Oh, it's a great country, biggest GDP in the world, but they can't afford healthcare, or they're going to lose healthcare." And I hope the GOP and the Democrats work together and find out another solution, or extend the Affordable Care Act until they figure out something, so that all these people could have. These are Americans. These are not random people. These are the people who were born in this country. Some of them are veterans. Some of them people have done a lot of things. And these are taxpayers. These people pay tax to this country. And I hope that the Republicans extend it, or the least they could do is extend it or come up with a new plan, so that people don't lose healthcare on the 1st of January next year, which is going to be in exactly 12 days. Sad. Then also there was another big announcement, not an announcement, I think. UK and US suspended its trade tech deal that was supposed to happen last weekend. The reason why it was is that the United States suspended the implementation of the major tech cooperation agreement with United Kingdom, because which was agreed upon during the President Trump's visit, saying that the pact, often called as the tech, is with $31 billion. Why it was suspended? Because there was a frustration in slow progress on border talks, especially with the UK reluctant to address non-tariff barriers like food. So the trade, apparently, between America and United Kingdom, the trade deal is not being finalized, and that also that US wants to include in wider trade discussion, which the UK is not getting involved with, according to the Guardian report. So I feel like Trump is holding it up. I feel like they might have some disagreement. The disagreement is probably with, especially with food items, industry regulations that UK has. And I think hopefully during the coming weeks or days, this deal will go through, and Trump is pressuring Starmer to make sure that this deal happens, because it's just $31 billion investment, which will also include Microsoft, Google, and all those companies investing in UK. So those are American companies. And so speaking about UK, it's a strange country, man. It's a great country. Once upon a time, it ruled a lot of people, and it controlled a lot of people. It colonized a lot of people, and now it's trembling and fumbling. And I hope, hearing of a lot of people that live in the UK, and also from my friends in the US, they also say that I think UK is going through this recovery process of leaving EU. But you can't say that. It's almost going to be 10 years of them leaving the EU in 2000, since if next year will mark the 10th year of them acting alone. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll see how that happens. Hopefully Trump and Starmer's team, both the teams can come up with some just proper discussion and come to a conclusion. And hopefully that will benefit both the countries, because UK is one of the largest trading partners of America, and they have been the best ally of America. And hopefully they find a common ground, and so that the investment is vice versa. I also wanted to say that Antonio Gurri was hospitalized. He was an actor. He was hospitalized. He's an iconic soap opera character. Or he was an actor. So he's a soap opera soap opera character like Spenson's on General Hospital, like character Luke Spence, and he died on Sunday at the age of 78. So rest in peace. He was famous back in the days, and he was also a big daytime TV couple. Was part of a daytime TV couple show back in the 80s, as per my news source here. So rest in peace. A lot of people are dying, man. I don't know why. Like, well, I don't know. This is just maybe it's just a weird world that we live in. You guys think about it? I always think about it. Why is this happening? And I also feel like nothing is permanent in this world. It's also, you don't know how long you left. You don't know how long you are left. You have left in your time. At the same time, you have to be faithful. We have to be thankful for every day that you're alive. And a lot of people forget. And a lot of people think they're gonna live for 100 years. So hope the world can recover. Hope things can, be. I don't know. Hope things could come to a proper. People can understand life and also spend time with their loved ones and not have regrets when they die. So that's something that I always follow on my mantra, I would say, in my life. This is another crazy thing what's happening in Chile. In Chile, for the first time since what's his name? Uh, uh, Pinochet dictatorship, that country has elected Jose Antonio Cast, the president, wins the Chile. He's a far right candidate, wins the Chile's election in 14th of December this year, which happened on Sunday, and making it one of the most right wing president to be ever elected since what do you call Pinochet, dictator Pinochet, and he received 59 percentage of vote and defeating the left candidate who received 41%, and her name is Janet Zara, yeah, Janet Zara. So this is a historic move. If you guys have seen, the right wing populism is rising, particularly it was a nationalism is rising. I think a lot of countries in the world moved towards far left socialistic ideas from for the last 20 to 25 years. I feel like this is what is happening around the world, because then you have someone coming and saying, "Oh, people are, anyone can convince anyone. If you are a good an orator, if you are a good speechwriter, if you are a convincing person, if you have the power to change or make an impact in someone's life, I feel like, and then you have the message you can write. A lot of far right people are winning, and I think it's a good sign and a bad sign, depending on how far they are. If they are center right, I'm okay with it. If they are far right, like the far left, or I call them the radical left lunatics, like President Trump calls him, I love that word. So you don't want to have extreme of both things, both corners. Like have the centrist position. So hopefully this guy, he won with 58 votes. That's a big win. And I hope Chile doesn't reverse on a lot of climate policies that they have. It's a great country. They did host the COP, I think in 2000. Well, they were unable to host it due to COVID or some unstable in Chile. So they had to move it to Spain. So that was very sad in 2000. Oh, during COVID, I believe they were able to not have it, and they had it in Spain. So anyway, so congratulations to Jose Antonio Cast to becoming the next president in Chile. Hopefully he does good things to the country. He's a far right person, but hey, it doesn't matter who becomes the leader as long as he takes care of the people. That's the most important thing, and he's not a person who is getting involved in corruption. So that's the fundamental for me that you all have to understand. There's been a lot of news developing from Belarus, the country that's part of EU, where 123 UK prisoners was Belarus freed 123 prisoners as US lift sanctions. So Belarus released, including opposition leader. So they released all the opposition leader because US finally have lifted its what do you call sanction, because the diplomatic talks are happening with Belarus and US, and they also wanted to lift. And also they also wanted to be part of the big economic deal with the United States. They also wanted to join in the trade-off and sorry, in the trade agreement with United States. A lot of because they both have so there's a little improvement between United States and Belarus, but our history don't go pretty much equal. Like, it's not a good history. So hopefully, President Trump's team, I think Secretary Rubio, will be able to do something substantial so that we can progress in those deals. Oh man, it's so nice to hear when we progress on a lot of economic deals. I think the economy will be fine. There's a lot of fear mongering that's going around, Andrew Rose or people like that. They're like, oh, the economy is going to crash. Like, every economy will crash. That's the whole part of the economy. It's not ever goes forever. So it depends on, like Jamie said, Jamie Morgan, right? Yeah, the CEO of Chase Bank. He said, JP Morgan. He said that that it's the economy, if it will crash, but I don't think it will. We will have a recession, but it will not be crazy as impactful, because we will be able to ride that wave. So I think we will start to see that riding the wave, the beginning, or maybe I would say in May or something, in that period of time, and then it will recover in the end of this next year. So hopefully, that doesn't go crazy as it is. Hopefully, the one of the key things that we need to focus on is that having the energy sector built, because energy is fundamental for everything. I mean, if you look at the US particularly, if we are going to fight the AI race with China, we need big energy system. As I spoke about it before in the podcast, that we need a lot of what do you call power plants to generate electricity. We need more power. So I feel like deals like this could also lead into a lot of good things, and especially in the economy, we will be able to ride this wave, and I hope we can ride this wave. And I'm telling to everyone who's listening. So on the EU side, we also have European Ukrainians reparation treaty. On December, the EU leaders met in Hague and signed an establishment commission, international claim commission for Ukraine to oversee war damage reparation. So okay, that's a good thing though, because I feel like they want to make Russia accountable for what Russia has done to Ukraine, and that also gives a signal that EU is ready to a deal to end this war. And I hope President Trump, I hope no, President Trump is the only person that can negotiate and have this deal come, the peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. So what does this mean? I feel like it also means, because the European countries have agreed to set up the special international body to document and calculate the damages caused by the Russians during the war in Russia. The idea is to create a legal basis so that Russia can be forced to pay. I don't think that's going to happen, but at least they're trying. And I hope Russia gives some loans out to Ukraine to build. Maybe they build a partnership. But this madness needs to end. Like, a lot of people are dying. This is so sad. Like, looking at 21st century, people are dying for what? From both sides, and it's just like crazy after crazy after crazy. And they also Germany is also stepping in. Germany also had a summit with Ukraine. It's Berlin Ukraine summit boost the MERS role The chancellor. The chancellor is also looking forward to the German chancellor. What do you call Frederick Merz? Frederick Merz. Sounds his name. Frederick. Yeah, Frederick, yeah, it's easy. Chancellor Frederick from Germany is also trying to play a big role, getting involved in the. This is funny because all these European leaders tried to stuck a deal with Russia. Never happened. President comes in, he opens up the door, and they all want to come back again. And they're like, okay, so now they wanted to also be part of it. I think they should be part of it. It's so funny to see that they always want to get involved with this thing. In fact, they could have prevented this war from happening, and it was all their mistake. I mean, it was Russia's mistake to Russia. It's not nothing. Um, there's nothing. What Russia did was right, but at the same time, they could have prevented this war if they could have stopped Ukraine from joining NATO. So that was a big red flag. And this is, I mean, I hope, and the European leaders, again, Germany wants to get involved. Then the Germany leaders met with the Ukrainian leaders so that they can talk about the use of the frozen asset of Russian asset that they have been freezing for defense cooperation. Germany is also trying to position itself in. So Germany is also trying to play a central role because remember, Germany gets energy from Russia, so they need Russia too. They can't slide away from Russia. So they want to play a centrist role. I can see where they're coming from, and they did bad. I mean, they also want to help. I mean, another thing, if you see, Germany is shutting down a lot of their nuclear power plant, so they need oil and energy, gas from Russia. The problem is they are stuck with Ukraine. They're part of EU. They don't know what they wanted to do, but they also don't want to piss off Russia. It's going to be interesting to see where Germany plays this role, and that's the reason France and US is playing a big role in this whole process, because France doesn't have anything to gain, but Germany does have to play a centrist role to what do you call to making this deal happen, making the peace happen, so that their energy prices don't skyrocket along. Yes, the EU energy in countries in the European Union has gone up. The electricity prices have gone up. Got families in France, but you know they always complain the prices are going up. It's so sad, but this is what happens when you have a war that could have been prevented, and that could have never led to happen for 2-3 years almost, I feel like now. France is also opposing the EU Monsieur trade deal. France feels like France is pushed back against a proposal, free trade deal between EU and South American countries that includes Brazil, Argentina, and other South American countries, because French leaders argue that the deal could hurt farmers and lower environmental standards, allowing cheap imports. So that's the other thing, because EU has do not do this, because EU has good environmental laws, especially in terms of agriculture. That's why all their products are really healthy. All their products are there. A lot of colorings are banned in EU, and now they wanted to go and do something in South America where the standards are low, and now it's all over again. So it's just you're creating a monopoly where people in Europe will have to then leave to South America, because then imagine the farmers are the bedrock of any country and cornerstone of this any country. United States, you take, they make the food is the number one source for any human being and anything that lives in this world. So if you're trying to tap into that, do not do it unless they also maintain the same standard as you guys have in the EU, I would say, because if you don't do that, it'll be the beginning of the end, where agriculture products with pesticides and all those things get involved, and then it will later become as the colorings. It will gradually go into that phase, and I hope the EU leaders take Macron's advice, the French leaders' advice, and rethink about this whole uh, bonkers idea of bringing agriculture, importing stuff from South America. I'm not saying don't import, but have the same standard, which is really important. And we also got an update on India and France tax agreement. So India has finally agreed to modernize their double taxation avoidance agreement. So companies and individuals are not taxed twice as the same income. So that means if people are working for a US company, for the French company in India or an Indian company in France, they will not be taxed in two countries. For example, in the US, if you are a citizen here, if you're born here, if anyone is working outside the United States and makes over 100 grand, they have to pay annually tax to America and the country that they live in. So this is a good thing for Indians. A lot of people live in there's a lot of IT sector people that works in India, in France, and this will also enable them to not pay two taxes, so they can also save. That's the other thing that always talking about money and income, and how the economy I was talking about before. It's so disturbing to see that how we don't. In the last 30 years, the cost of living has gone up. I've been talking about this every time in the podcast. The cost of living has gone up, but not the income. So the cost of living when it goes up, the income also needs to go up. The basic income has to go up. Still $7.50, the federal minimum wage, that has to go up $7 or $8. It has to go up for $15 or $20. That's how then people can live. And I also see people complaining about, oh, you can't afford anything. You got to understand, you cannot afford anything because people don't make the same equivalent money in relation to inflation and today, rather than how people made money in the 60s or 80s. They stop saying that, oh, we could have made people are lazy, they can't find any jobs. No, the problem is that you haven't raised the minimum wage. When people when that's what I said, $1 in 2000 is only worth now 64 cents or 63 cents. So you have to understand, the minimum wage or basic income of people have to go up. If it doesn't go up, people will not be able to buy a house or buy a car or raise a family, because everything is going up, but the basic salary doesn't go up. The guy who makes 25,000 today in 2000 still makes 25,000 a year in 2025. That's not right. If the price of their eggs is double or tripled in the last 25 years, your wages should also be tripled. Then only you can at least even out. People have to work two jobs. Doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I love capitalism, but these are the biggest fumbles in capitalism, because then they become greedy, where all these companies, I love it, but also don't get greedy, and we have got greedy in the last 25 or 30 years, and that's why young people like us can't afford a house, can't afford any can't afford a family. It's not because they don't want to work. Yes, not everyone becomes successful or exceptional. Yes, very few people do. But back in the days, from what I understood and studying it, that people were able to make a living out of their salary. But now they can't. The salary hasn't gone up. Why? These are the things that really frustrates me. So universal basic income has to go up, and the minimum wage has to be equal to today's inflation rate. If $1 was equal 63 cents or 60 cents in 2000, it has to be equal the same now, but it's not. $1 in 2000 is only equal 63 cents. That means we are down by 32%. So they have to have a 32% increase on the minimum wage in this country. Or I would say, it doesn't make 32%. I would say in the annual income. So if somebody made 25,000, they should now make 50,000 a year, so they can afford a house. That's how the math works. So anyways, guys, I just get crazy about it. Thank you for joining Every Degree Matters. We hope to bring you the best of the best. And please do let us know in the comment section what you think about it. Please do follow us, subscribe us, and hope you guys have a great week. Until then, next time, I'm your host, Saffran Minhar.